flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joey, will you do a roll call for me, please?
Borowski? Yep. Cloud?
Here.
Vogel? Here. Montgomery?
Here.
And Ruddick is absent and Boozy is excused.
Thank you. So we need to talk about review of the minutes. Does anyone have?
Is that Rory? Okay.
Does anyone have any corrections, additions, deletions?
I move that the minutes be approved as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Hi, Rory.
How you doing?
So glad you're here. Okay, good. Thank you for approving the minutes. So we are going to begin, and first I'd just like to welcome you to tonight's City Planning Commission meeting. And when you do get up to speak, if you get up to speak, we just ask that you stand at the podium, address the commissioners. Make sure to give us your first and last name, your city address, and your phone number, and speak slowly so information can be recorded. So having said that, do we have any public comment unrelated to items on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move forward on our agenda, which is number 6, public hearing, Baldwin Family Health Care Site Plan Review, 730 Water Tower Road. It is, its parcel is 17-15-300-003. It's a commercial site plan review for an expansion of an existing use, building and parking on the property. Having introduced it, is there anyone here that would like to speak in relation to that? Is that you, Pam?
Yeah.
If you want to come over here to the podium, we'll be able to hear you better.
Okay.
So go ahead and just state your first, last name.
Kay
address,
Inglis, Mid-Michigan Engineering and Survey.
And you have a phone number as well.
Oh, 231-796-9291.
Thank you.
Okay. It's an expansion of the building that's there. They're also gonna add a basement to that. It's a pretty good size addition. We are adding additional parking and expanding the stormwater area. Apparently there is a real need for it. Their building is really pretty small if you look at it. This project was approved a couple years ago, and basically it's the same information that's being submitted. Does anybody have any questions of me?
Thank you so much. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in against? Did you receive anything, email, anything?
I did not. I received a phone call this afternoon from the owner of the apartments, but he was just looking for information, so I sent him the site plan, and then he called back to say that he didn't really see any issue with it, and he appreciated that they were keeping some of the trees on the south side of this property, north side of his property.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak against this proposal? Okay, so Michelle, do you have any information you would like to share?
Staff reviewed the plans, and the engineering, Public Works also reviewed the plans, and they had no drainage concerns with the request. They went over it. I did not hear back from the fire marshal. He received a copy of the plan, so I'm assuming that means he doesn't have any concerns or any concerns that need to be addressed at site plan. He might, bring anything up at the building department when he signs off with them. our review of the plans found that they meet everything in the zoning ordinance and all of the requirements. The only thing that I saw that could possibly be a safety concern that I pointed out in my staff report is there is handicap parking on the north side of the new parking lot that they're providing, and there is no sidewalk in front of the handicap parking, so anyone exiting those vehicles would have to go through the drive lane for the parking lot. It's not necessarily an ordinance requirement, but it could become a safety concern if the board chooses to act on or talk about it or look on it. That's completely up to you. Otherwise, the plans were found to be in compliance with our ordinance.
Okay, thank you. So before I close the public comment, is there anyone that has anything to say prior to me closing the public comment section of this hearing? Hearing none, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public portion of this hearing so we can go into fact finding amongst the commissioners and ask questions and make a determination. So does anyone want to start with any questions, concerns, statements at all?
I have a few.
Okay, Tim.
Kate, I see that there's, you have planned for 2 EV charging stations. And I wondered if those are going to have electric to them and just not install them, or I'm just curious what your thought is there.
Where did you see those, Tim? I don't remember.
They're in the northwest corner of the parking area.
Oh, okay. Okay, the architect must put those in there. We'll have to run power to those.
I'm not suggesting that you do, I just wonder what your thought was, if you were gonna, just have them ready at some point in time, or.
I gotta tell you, Tim, I don't know.
Okay.
Those are planned for now or future.
You know.
Well, it says future here, so.
It says future,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know one of our other applicants, the Consumers Credit Union, when they did theirs, they showed them as future because they wanted to run the power while they had it torn up.
Right,
But they weren't gonna install anything at that time.
and I guess, that would be the time to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that makes sense.
But the overhead power is gonna stay there, so I don't know.
okay.
Okay.
I wonder about the mechanical heating and cooling, is that gonna be in the building?
Yes.
It won't be out, okay. The detention base, storm detention basin, is that going to be a dry basin, basically? And so it won't retain water?
It's not gonna
all the
collect
time?
cattails and,
Huh?
it won't collect cattails and
Okay.
stuff.
All right.
Good.
Okay, good. I wonder about irrigation. You have a lot of plantings here. Are you going to, will there be irrigation?
Not that I'm aware of. I would assume that for the trees that they're gonna plant, they would do the bag irrigation to get them started.
Okay. Those are the questions that I had, and
Those are good questions. I hadn't thought about the air conditioning, and that's good. How about you, Katie?
The only thing that I remembered, because I remember this one, was that we had a lot of talk about the drainage, but I see that Public Works has said that they don't have concerns with that. What is our responsibility for the ADA compliance? Are they required to have a sidewalk, and what is our role in that?
So how it's drawn, it meets ADA compliance. ADA doesn't necessarily require a sidewalk in the
Okay.
front.
My only thought on that is, you know, I drove around to the hospital, Ferris, the state building, just to see what other folks did. You know, the hospital just has the handicap signs with posts, so they're movable. And that they don't have that impediment of that curb section here. And maybe that would, number one, help eliminate a snowplow problem. And number two, it gives us maybe a little better path. I don't know. There's alternatives, but many of them are similar to that. So there really isn't much room for a sidewalk here. I mean, it's just you have about maybe 8 feet. You know, once you put your car, you park your car up there, then you've got, it just isn't a lot of space. But I like the hospital approach. They just put a sign on a pedestal, and maybe some of that can be redrawn. Eliminate some of that, but I don't.
What, and just leave that island section out in between the handicaps?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something specific to drainage. but
Yeah,
that-
we
I
may
don't
lose
either.
control of the water coming through there is the only thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we don't wanna mess that up. Important, and so is a handicap.
Yeah,
I'm just not, you know, I'm not in a wheelchair, so I really have a hard time, but I see, you know, this is not unusual from what I've seen in other places. There is the ability to, you know, it's direct,
Sure.
right to the opening of the door. I mean, as direct as you can.
Sam, do you have anything? Anything you'd like to ask?
No, I think my main concern was their surrounding places like the duplex and the other house. Then when I drove up through there, there's a lot of trees and stuff in the area which seem to provide a lot of cover.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're trying to preserve and keep as much of that as they can.
Yeah.
So those were the two
I appreciate
things.
that too.
Yeah. And I was like, well, it looks like they covered for that. So
I agree. Rory, what do you see? Anything?
And this looks very complete. You know, it's a little bit of a struggle with those handicap spaces, but it's the same every place.
I know. I agree.
I like it. I don't see anything they're not putting in another driveway, so it's not a drainage problem going back on Fuller Street, so.
Right.
they're planning on leveling it too, right? Because they're planning on leveling the
There will
parking
be a
lots.
lot of earthwork
yes, there will be.
Yeah.
done on this
But Fuller Street is still way low, I mean.
I did notice there's a great big dead tree on the corner. Is that coming down? You don't list it here, it says existing tree, but you have to go out and look at it. It's not shown here, maybe on the photograph.
I would assume it's coming out then.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really close, it'd be great if it did, I think, but.
I've seen that before, Tim, a couple years ago, now I remember it, but I'm not sure exactly where it is.
Yeah, I know.
Not sure if it's that. East Street.
Oh, well.
Well, when I read through everything lined up for me. Everything looked in compliance to me. I agree, I like the sidewalk idea, but I don't think it would work in the space provided. I do like that they have that direct walkway though, so once you get where you're going, you're set safely on your way in.
Well, I think the answer was the stormwater, directing the water,
True.
those curbs. And,
Ah.
it doesn't appear that there's a lot of room for a sidewalk there.
Yeah. I like that they're keeping everything, quite secluded, and the privacy is there for those around the building. It sounds like a nice addition. So I have nothing further. Does someone, we've been given some directive here. Someone want to make a motion in regards to, does anyone have anything else to say before we move on? Are we all good up here? Okay. So let's discuss a motion.
Well, I'll move that we approve the site plan for the Baldwin Family Healthcare at 730 Water Tower Road for the expansion of an existing use building and parking on the property.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Rory. I do a roll call vote on that.
Morosky?
Yep.
Cloud? Yes. Vogel?
Yes.
Montgomery?
Yes?
And Reddick.
Yep.
Okay, so that has passed. And thank you for coming.
Send you your letter. I said I'll send you your letter
Oh, okay.
of approval.
Very good. Thank you all. Good to see you, Tim.
Okay.
So we're gonna move down our agenda to number 7, which is general business. An update on previously approved projects. Michelle, anything? Nothing? What about the city commission's actions related to the PC recommendations?
We haven't really had any recommendations to the city commission, so I don't have anything for that
Okay.
either.
Master plan update?
They have sent us a draft version of the future land use as well as a draft version of the multimodal the multimodal plan, which is like your roadways and your bike and pedestrian pathways too. So the steering committee are reviewing both of those right now. We should have an implementation plan within the next couple of weeks, or the section of the plan for implementation, the next section, couple weeks. And then I've started discussing with the consultant on when our open house will be to go over the plan and give the community a chance to review the plan and give some feedback before we start the lengthy adoption process of the plan. So we'll give the community a chance to give some feedback. We'll go back, make some edits based on that feedback on what the steering committee thinks is appropriate to change. And then it would be coming before the plan commission for review, go to the city commission for review, and then it gets put out again to the public before it can be finally adopted. We're in the home stretch, but still have a ways to go.
A lot of process.
It is a lot of process, yes.
Wow. Okay, is there any unscheduled business?
Bylaws?
I sent them to Brad.
Oh.
He's still reviewing them, so should hopefully be getting back to us soon on those.
That's good.
Thanks.
But I sent him all of your notations and questions that you had, so hopefully he'll be able to get back to them.
Good, that's good.
Still no news from our friends
Yeah.
at Christie Orr.
I have not heard anything. I did hear that they had an issue with a well, that there was a well on, within the city limits within 500 feet that they weren't aware of. And so that caused them a little bit of hang up, but that they've got it solved now. And so that probably was some of the issues, so they should be moving forward quickly, I think.
Okay, good. I keep watching. Like everybody else, I'm sure.
Don't say quickly.
Well, quickly in the development world.
Okay, I don't have anything else, so does anyone have anything else before I adjourn? Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting at 6:51.
Yeah, good job, Chair.